Hello student, we are studying our course that is physics of semiconductor devices, and in that we have started our fourth module, that is metal and metal insulator semiconductor devices. And in that, in our previous video we have discussed about the different current transport phenomena which occurs in a metal semiconductor contact or at the metal semiconductor contact. And in that we have three different theories, that is a thermionic emission theory, diffusion theory, and the combination of these two theories is nothing but the thermionic emission diffusion theory. So we have to see one by one. First is the thermionic emission theory. But first of all, what do you mean by the thermionic emission? So let's see thermionic emission definition. The process by which electrons are emitted from the surface of a metal when external heat energy is applied, it's called thermionic emission. Already you studied what do you mean by the thermionic emission in your previous standard. That is, when we apply some heat energy to the system or to the metal, then there is a ejection of the electrons, and these electrons are emitted from the metal surface, and this is known as the thermionic emission process, or just simply called it as a thermionic emission. According to thermionic emission theory by Bethe, we have several assumptions as given below. That means first time the thermionic emission theory is given or was given by the scientist, that is Bethe, and he stated some assumptions. That is, first assumption is the barrier height Q phi Bn is much larger than kT, that is energy due to thermal agitation. We already discussed about the deflection layer in the metal semiconductor contact, and there is a formation of the barrier at the metal semiconductor contact, and we call it as a barrier height, that is a Q phi Bn. So the first assumption is this barrier height be much larger than the energy, that is a kT. kT is nothing but the thermal energy, or simply we call it as a energy due to thermal agitation. So this is the first assumption. Second assumption is the thermal equilibrium is established at the plane that determines emission. That means there is a thermal equilibrium. As already we mentioned in our previous video, the current flowing from metal to semiconductor and semiconductor to metal in opposite direction, and they are in equilibrium. So the equilibrium is established at the plane that determines the emission. Third assumption is the existence of a net current flow does not affect this equilibrium, so that one can superimpose two current fluxes, one from metal to semiconductor and the other from semiconductor to metal, each with a different Fermi level. We also studied in our previous video. That means we consider the metal semiconductor junction in a reverse condition and in forward condition. So in a reverse condition we get one current, and in a forward condition we get one current. That is the currents are from metal to semiconductor and semiconductor to metal, that is two current fluxes. We get two current fluxes, but these two current fluxes do not disturb equilibrium condition. So, and each with different Fermi level. So this is the third assumption for the thermionic emission theory. If thermionic emission is a limiting mechanism, then EFN is a flat throughout the dilation region as shown in the figure. That means we already consider, if we consider the limiting mechanism of the thermionic emission, then EFN is a flat. That means there is no curvature at the EFN. EFN is nothing but the metal Fermi energy level in the deflection region. So this is the another condition. The current density from semiconductor to metal, that is denoted by Js, goes from semiconductor to metal. J is nothing but the current density, and it goes from the semiconductor to metal, and it's given by the concentration of electrons with energy sufficient to overcome the potential barrier and transversing in the x direction is given by, where J goes from to semiconductor to metal, and this is the current density from semiconductor to metal, and is then given by concentration of electrons with energy sufficient to overcome the potential barrier and which transversing in a x direction. That means this current density is sufficient to overcome the potential barrier, and this energy density is considered along x direction, and it is given by, that is J goes from S to M equal to integration over EFN plus Q phi Bn to infinity Q Vx into dN, where Q is a charge, Vx is the carrier velocity, and dN is the density of states, and J goes from S to M is nothing but the current density from semiconductor to metal. EFN is nothing but the Fermi energy level of the metal. Q phi Bn is nothing but the barrier height, and it goes from EFN plus Q phi Bn to infinity. That means where EFN plus Q phi Bn is the minimum energy required for thermionic emission into the metal. First of all, we define the what do you mean by the thermionic emission. In a thermionic emission, we provide some energy, and in this case, this energy is the EFN plus Q phi Bn, so that metal ejected from the metal surface, and nu x is the carrier velocity in the direction of the transport. So these are the two parameters. The electron density in an incremental energy range is given by, that means if we define the electron density in incremental range, that is in nu plus d nu, that means in terms of carrier velocity, that is dN is equal to n of E f of E into d, and you studied this expression in your previous chapter. So we take here directly, that is dN is equal to n of E f of E, d is equal to 4 pi into 2 m star raised to 3 by 2 divided by h cube into under root E minus EC exponential of minus E minus EC plus Q phi Bn divided by kT into d, where m star is nothing but the effective mass and E minus EC is the energy difference, Q phi Bn is again barrier height, kT is the thermal energy. So and 4 pi divided by h cube is the constant quantity. So you studied this expression in your previous chapters. So this is the electron density in an incremental energy range. Energy of the electron in the conduction band is mainly kinetic energy, hence we can write, we know that in a conduction band electron move here and there, and so it possesses only just kinetic energy, and for electron in a conduction band we write E minus EC equal to half m star nu square. So this is the kinetic energy for that electron which is present in the conduction band. By differentiating above equation we get, that means we differentiate above equation, that is the equation E minus EC is equal to half m star nu square, then we get d is equal to m star nu into d nu, because the derivative of nu square is a 2 nu, so 2 get cancelled and we left with the m star nu d nu. So this is the derivative of E with respect to, and EC is the constant, so this is not function of E, so it is a constant, the derivative of EC is a 0. Also we can write this equation, that is a from equation above equation, that is E minus EC half m star nu square, square root of E minus EC is equal to nu m star by 2. So we can write this equation in terms of nu, so we get the value of square root of E minus EC. So we can substitute these two values in our previous equation, that is in the equation of dN. So substitute these values, then we get, by using these values in equation of dN, then we get dN is equal to, we have the equation of dN, that is n of E f of E into d is equal to this equation, and after substituting all those values and doing calculation we get the equation, that is dN is nearly equal to 2 m star cube divided by h cube exponential minus q phi bn divided by kt exponential of minus m star nu square divided by 2 kt into 4 pi nu square d nu. So this is the required expression we get after substituting the two values, that is these two values. So we left with this equation. Above equation gives the number of electrons per unit volume that have velocities between nu and nu plus d nu distributed over all directions. That means dn is nothing but the density of number of electrons per unit volume, and this density is defined in the range, that is a velocity range nu and nu plus d nu. So distributed over all directions. If the velocity is resolved into its components along the axis with x-axis parallel to the transport direction, we can write, we know that velocity is a vector quantity, we can resolve this quantity in different components. If we consider the three components of velocity, that is a vx, vy or vz, or simply we can nu x, nu y, nu z, then we can write nu square is equal to nu x square plus nu y square plus nu z square. So this is the velocity in a component form. And also we know that 4 pi nu square is equal to d nu x, d nu y, d nu z. For 3-dimension equation of current density associated with the current from semiconductor to the metal. That means 4 pi nu square is the volume element, we already know in a 3-dimension, and the equation of current density associated with the current from semiconductor to metal, we already defined this equation, that is a J goes from S to M, that is a semiconductor to metal, and J is nothing but the current density. So we get this equation, we can substitute all those values, that is a 4 pi nu square is equal to d nu x, d nu y, d nu z, and also we can substitute nu square is equal to nu x square, nu y square, nu z square, and also the value of dn in the equation, that is this equation in a current density equation, the equation which present at the topmost. So we get the current density from semiconductor to metal. So this equation becomes J goes from S to M equal to 2 into q m star cube divided by h cube exponential minus q phi n divided by kt. So this is the term which come from the dn. So this is the dn. So 2 into m star cube divided by h cube exponential minus q phi n divided by kt. So this is the dn term, and the remaining term is the nu square, and for the nu square we can write nu x square, nu y square, nu z square, and 4 pi nu square we can write it simply d nu x, d nu y, d nu z. So after substituting all those values, we get nu 0 x to infinity nu x exponential of minus m star nu x square divided by kt into d nu x minus infinity to infinity exponential minus m star nu y square divided by twice kt into dy into minus infinity to infinity exponential minus m star nu z square divided by 2 kt into d nu z. So we can, here we write the integration in the separate form, that is a integration for d nu x, or simply for nu x, nu y, and nu z. So here we take 3 integrals after using, but this integration can be solved with the help of 2 formulas. So first is the 0 to infinity x raised to n exponential minus ax square dx is equal to gamma of n plus 1 divided by 2, and again divided by 2 a raised to n plus 1 divided by 2. So this integration, these 3 integration we can solve with the help of this formula, and also using another formula, that is integration from 0 to infinity exponential e to the power exponential of minus ax square into dx is equal to pi by a. So we can use these 2 formula and solve above integration. Then we get j goes from to s to m is equal to 4 pi q m star k square divided by h cube into t square exponential of minus q phi n divided by kt into exponential of minus m star nu x square divided by 2 kt. So we get this equation after solving the integration. Now the velocity nu naught x is the minimum velocity required in the x direction to surmount the barrier is given by half m star nu square is equal to q phi bi minus v. That is the kinetic energy of the electron which present in the conduction band is equal to q into phi bi minus v, where phi bi is the built-in potential, q is the charge and v is the voltage. So by using this we get J goes from to S to M 4 pi q m star k square divided by h cube t square exponential of minus q phi n divided by kt into exponential 4. So here we have in the numerator, that is in the last equation of J goes from S to M, we have the term that is a half m star nu 0 square. For that we can substitute the value that is a q phi bi minus v. So here we get the term that is exponential of minus q phi bi minus v divided by kt. So after rearranging we get J goes from S to M equal to 4 pi q m star k square divided by h cube into t square into exponential minus, here we collect the term of q's. So we get q into phi n minus phi bi divided by kt, and the another left term of the v, that is exponential qv divided by kt. So we collect the term of q and write the equation. Again we know that phi n minus phi bi is nothing but the q phi n, that is a barrier height. So we can replace the quantity that is a phi n minus phi psi bi by the q phi bn. So we get J goes from to S to M 4 pi q m star k square divided by h cube into t square exponential of minus q phi bn divided by kt into exponential qv divided by kt. Now we denote the quantity that is a 4 pi m star q k square divided by h cube by a star. So here we write J goes from to S to M a star t square exponential minus q phi bn divided by kt into exponential qv divided by kt, and here a star is equal to 4 pi q m star k square divided by h cube. So here we get the value of a star, and this a star is known as the effective Richardson constant for the thermionic emission. We are studying the thermionic emission theory, and the Richardson is the name of the scientist. So a star is the Richardson constant for the thermionic emission. In this way we can explain current density due to thermionic emission. That means if we provide the some amount of heat energy, then there is a ejection of the electron from the metal surface. So in this way we can explain the current density due to thermionic emission. But we know that the barrier height for electrons moving from metal to semiconductor remains same. The same under bias. The current flowing into the semiconductor is thus unaffected by the applied voltage. As already we studied, the barrier height for electrons moving from metal to semiconductor, that means there is a formation of the barrier at the metal semiconductor contact, but the electrons which are present in the metal, they does not experience that barrier, that is the electron which moving from the metal to semiconductor under the same bias, and the current flowing into the semiconductor is thus unaffected. That means the current flowing due to the electron which are moving from metal to semiconductor is unaffected, because the electrons which lie on the metal side does not experience any barrier height. So this is the unaffected by the barrier by the applied voltage. It must therefore be equal to the current flowing from the semiconductor into the metal when applied voltage is 0. As already we studied also in our previous video, we know that the current goes from metal to semiconductor, and again semiconductor to metal is the same but in opposite direction. So we get the equilibrium condition at that instant. So we can write, and the condition is that the applied voltage is 0. So we can write the total current density is the addition of the current density which goes from semiconductor to metal and metal to semiconductor. So we have the first equation, that is for the current density which goes from the semiconductor to metal, that is A star T square exponential minus q phi bn divided by kt into exponential qv divided by kt. And for the current density which goes from metal to semiconductor, it is just in a reverse direction, so there is a negative sign. And after that we can write net current density, and which is given by Jn. Jn is the addition of J goes from to S to M and J goes from to metal to semiconductor, that is M to S. So we have these two values, substitute these two values here, then we get A star T square exponential minus q phi bn divided by kt into exponential qv divided by kt plus minus A star T square exponential of minus q phi bn divided by kt. In the current density which goes from the metal to semiconductor, the only term is the exponential minus q phi bn divided by kt. There is no term of the exponential qv divided by kt, because in a reverse way or in a current density which goes from metal to semiconductor, this is possible when voltage is 0, and that means V is 0. When V is 0, then exponential 0 is 1. So there is no term of the exponential qv divided by kt in the current density which goes from the metal to semiconductor. By rearranging above equation, we get Jn is equal to A star T square exponential minus q phi bn divided by kt in bracket exponential qv divided by kt minus 1. We can take the terms, that is A star T square exponential q minus q phi bn divided by kt common from these two terms, and then we left with the terms which present in the bracket, that is exponential qv divided by kt minus 1. Now also we can write Jn is equal to Jte into exponential qv divided by kt minus 1. Here we define Jte, and Jte is equal to A star T square exponential minus q phi bn divided by kt, and which is the current density due to thermionic emission. So above equation shows similarity in between the current density in a PN junction. So in this way we can calculate the current density in a thermionic emission, and this is similar to the current density in the PN junction. In this way we can explain current density which is under the thermal influence. Thermal influence means in a thermionic emission we provide some thermal energy or heat energy, so that we get this current density. In this way we can explain the thermionic emission theory for the metal semiconductor contact or for the Schottky diode. So here we have completed the information about the thermionic emission theory about the metal semiconductor contact. Now we have to study about the diffusion theory. So the second type is the diffusion theory, and which we will study in our next video. So in our next video we will continue with the diffusion theory.